This hashtag confuses the living hell out of me. Some people sent me this hashtag, and as I'm exploring it, I am just utterly confused about what I just saw. Like, why is this a hashtag? I don't get it. So if you want to know what happens, well, good luck trying to figure it out yourself, because I certainly couldn't, at least the full story of it. But basically, in the most nutshell possible version, Fate Grand Order the video game is going to have an event, and it takes place in 1945. Okay. And? Well, the hashtag Fate Go Director should apologize was made on Twitter, and people are tweeting it for some reason. What should they apologize? Well, let's check out a couple of comments from these anonymous tweeters.
I have been literally waiting for Swimsuit Spartacus for 1945 days, and it's unforgivable that we still don't have an official image of Spartacus in Speedos. The hell, the Lightworks! I expect more from you!
That is admittedly a pretty good reason to put this hashtag on. Anyway, that's one joke post from a hilarious Anon. What about Anons that actually meant it?
I'm a big fan of Fate. I am aware historical fiction can be a touchy subject. While there are other concepts this series hasn't handled well, an event celebrating Japanese imperialism set in 1945 is a whole new level, and especially insulting for Korean players.
Okay, so apparently from what I've read, Korea suffers from Japanese rule. My country also suffers from Japanese rule. Your point?
1945 is the year World War II ended. Many of its victims are still alive. It is devastating that the Debs are treating one of the most tragic history of mankind as a mere laughingstock. I am thoroughly disgusted by the Debs' lack of moral and historical consciousness.
We're talking about the same series where Astolfo is depicted as a trap, right?
Don't defend your country's war crimes. It is etiquette to not to use World War II in the game. War victims from World War II are still alive. 1945 is the year that World War II ended.
So we have people complaining about a World War II game being inauthentic to the experience, and now we have people complaining about a World War II game existing at all. Why Fate of all games? It's not a World War II game, it's just one event from what I've seen. One Anon made an open letter to the users of Fate Go as opposed to the director. Anyway, the open letter states as follows.
Dear users of Fate Grand Order from all over the world, today, 6th of June 2018, a non-acceptable event has been announced in our beloved game. The producing company The Lightworks introduced their new scenario about Japan's and the whole world's history in 1945, which is a very dangerous topic to fantasize.
We're talking about Fate, right? This is the same universe that has a lot of influence from many historical events, characters, and romanticize them to the point of ridiculousness. And yet, for some reason, you decided to focus specifically in World War II because you demand reparations?
1945 was the year World War II ended, and many countries were freed from Japanese Empire's
localization.
1945 was the year the World War II ended, and many countries were freed from Japanese Empire's colonizations.
Yeah, including mine. Your point?
Unfortunately, the scenario the company is planning to present us is about denying the results of the World War II leading to the Japanese Empire's victory.
Is it? It's an event that involves the fictional servants from the Fate series. I think you should really chalk up your priorities here. Is it really denying the results of World War II? Or is it something that you speculated yourself because, hey, the game is Japanese, it takes place in World War II, and therefore they're trying to erase history? What? Valkyria Chronicles? Hetalia Access Powers? Never heard of them.
Moreover, the key sentence in the scenario is, to fight the enemies of Japan.
Okay, now you're just trying to make a Hetalia fanfiction.
It's clear what they want to say.
No, it's not. Link your sources, please.
Some say that this is a game and it's not real.
Oh, you mean a game that takes place in a universe where Nero Claudius Caesar Augustus Germanicus is depicted as an anime girl is actually not real. I don't believe you. That is clearly fake news.
However, Japan has not yet apologized for their actions of colonialism, and they show no intention of apology in the future as well.
I'm not exactly a historical expert, but Didn't Japan surrender in World War II? I thought that was a good point where all of us can move on, but apparently not. So every victims of the Japanese World War II that suffers through its colonialism can just easily demand reparations like that. In that case, where's my Astolfo body pillow?
They just want others to forget it and move on.
And you come into this conclusion thanks to one game that has an event in 1945. As opposed to government officials who want to deny it, or important figures in Japan, or many people in Japan collectively. You are confusing me, Anon.
If they really want to move on, they should face their past and do their best to make up for it and do better, not hiding and denying what they have done.
I think the person who has issues of moving on here is you, Anon. What else can Japan do to make up for World War II and do better? Isn't contributing to the entertainment industry enough? Japan has given people so many wonderful childhoods and saved the entire gaming industry. Where's the point where we can say, enough is enough? If it's never enough for you guys, then maybe the Fate Go directors shouldn't apologize at all, because you have a weird sick fetish of being apologized to.
It's time to stop! No more!
So please, inform your game friends who does not know about these unacceptable plans and support us to stop Delightworks on doing anti-global actions anymore.
Anti-global actions. What are you even on? What kind of drugs have you consumed? Is it the kind of drugs with the side effects of not being able to move on from the events that happened decades ago? Does being a citizen of a once colonialized country automatically grants you the right to demand reparations from the colonialists? I am a citizen of a once colonialized country by the same colonialists that you guys are talking about here, and you guys sound like a bunch of entitled brats wanting free money.
It is our duty to let people be informed by these horrible history denials.
It's a fictional game.
You know, you have a way of making things sound immoral.
This is the most terrible insult, not only to the gamers, but to the whole world. Please support us.
So, in other words, you are personally insulted by this event. For the stupidest, most arbitrary of reasons. I really don't get this hashtag, but the one thing that I do get is that my new patrons are pretty freaking awesome. Huge thanks to Shadow AV, Geek Mythology, and Toki Fuji for the pledges. You guys are fantastic. Sorry if this video is short, exam week is pretty exhausting. I'm going to make even more shorter videos in the future that can probably cover a wider range of topics than my usual longer than 10-minute ones, because I tend to miss quite a lot with that format.